Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel. I'm now answering question number 27, which is the final question on this June 2022 IGCSE Cambridge Paper 2 Variant 1 0580 syllabus question. This is all about simultaneous equations where one of them is linear, the other one is quadratic. Again, one of these new items in the syllabus which was introduced in 2020. So here we have a equation, a linear equation and a quadratic equation, and they told us that they intersect at 2 points A and B. We need to find the coordinates of A and the coordinates of B, showing all our working. So first of all, these questions are very easy to answer. They're not really too much more difficult than normal simultaneous equations. First of all, if you have both of them in terms of y as we do here, then probably the simplest thing for you to do is to replace, and this is the way I like to think about it. I'm going to replace this y here with what y is equal to here. Some people say equate the two equations together. I don't like to think of it like that, because sometimes an equation is not in terms of y. And you can't just take one equation and make it equal to the other anyhow. It has to be if they both say y equals, then I can replace this y with x squared minus 3x minus 11, and that's equal to x plus 1. I've basically taken this y here and replaced it with what y is equal to from there. So now we end up with a quadratic equation, because you have an x squared term and x terms. So when we're solving quadratic equations, we have to try to factorize first. That's the first thing we try to do. So we have to use the zero product property. It must say equals 0. So that means I have to get rid of this x and 1 from this side. So I have to subtract x from both sides. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 11. Take away x and take away 1. Take away x from both sides. They disappear from this side. And then you end up with minus x and minus 1 on that side. So x squared, there's no like terms for that. Minus 3x minus x is minus 4x. And minus 11 minus 1 is minus 12 equals 0. So now I'm going to try to factorize this. I need to find two numbers. When you multiply them together, you get negative 12. When you add them, you get negative 4. Okay, so one of the ways I like to give my students a little activity during our course is I give them these blocks here. So we say that these two numbers multiply to give us the number on top, so they multiply to give us negative 12, and they add together to give us negative 4. So what are those two numbers? When you multiply them, you get a negative number, so one is positive and one is negative. The numbers you can multiply to give you 12 are 12 and 1. You can say 6 and 2, 4 and 3. It looks like it's 6 and 2, so it has to be negative when you add them together. So negative 6 and plus 2. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. 2 times minus 6 is minus 12. So we know we got x plus 2 and x minus 6 equals 0. Those are the two numbers. When you have x squared like this, with 1x squared, you can straight away put it into two brackets. And that makes life easy. So now we have x equals negative 2 and x equals 6. Now many students make the mistake, okay, of leaving the answer like this. Say x equals minus 2, x equals 6, and that's it. But one of the things about the IGCSE, which is good, you have these answer spaces where, hold on, I've got to put minus 2 and I've got to put 6 in there. Now, there's something missing. The y values are missing, so you have to go and find the y value. So, just a little recap here. If x plus 2 equals 0, that means x must be negative 2. And if x minus 6 is 0, that means x must be 6. So now we want to find the y values. Now, we can find the y values using either of these two equations. Of course, this is way easier to use. So I know that when x is negative 2, we know y is x plus 1, as they told us. So I will replace the x with the negative 2. So therefore I can say y is equal to minus 2 plus 1, which is minus 1. So we got minus 2 minus 1. And when x is equal to 6, y is equal to x plus 1. So y is equal to 6 plus 1, which is 7. So we have 6 and 7. So we have negative 2, negative 1, and 6 and 7. Those are the coordinates of the points where these two intersect. And we can always check our answer to see if they make the equations true. So minus 2, well, that would be minus 1 equals minus 2 plus 1. That's correct. And you have 7 equals 6 plus 1. That's correct. So these two coordinates, they satisfy this equation. And let's see if they satisfy the other equation, which was x squared minus 3x minus 11. So that's a minus 1. You're going to have, that's going to give you 4. Minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. And that's minus 11. That's going to be 12 minus 11. No, sorry, 10 minus 11, which is minus 1. That's correct. And then we're going to have 6 and 7. See why we put 6 and 7 in here. So that's 7 will be over here. So 6, that's 36 minus 18. 36 minus 18, that's 18. 18 minus 11 is 7. Yes. So those two coordinates satisfy both those two equations. So we know for sure that we have got the correct answers. So it's always good to check your answers in the original equation, especially if you have time. And there we have it. That's the answer to this question. One of the common errors is not to go on to find the y values. You must find the y values after you found the x values. And the way the coordinates are given here should remind you for that. So that's the answer to this question, which was the final question on this paper. 27 questions, quite a few questions actually. Other questions from this particular paper can be found in the playlist that will appear over here. If you don't find a question that you're looking for from this paper, just send me a message on the comments and I will try to get around to answering it as soon as I possibly can. Over here you'll find other questions from solving equations, simultaneous equations, where one of them is quadratic. I'm going to put a special playlist for that eventually. And you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on this link. If you want to find out how to use my channel to help you find things and navigate things that you might find useful, you can look at the video that I've made, which will be appearing in this region here. Thank you for watching and see you soon.